I ain't even doing a fucking intro for this one. Fuck that shit. Let's just get into this crap, shall we? Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Sadly in this case, because today we're going to be talking about a dumbass. A dumbass named Cat Bussel. That's actually going to be a little bit extra funny when you learn a little bit more about this person. So, last night I was playing Cyberpunk 2077, gleefully escaping this world and going to one that is full of death, murder, destruction, corporations, stealing people's money, and lobbying the government for extra power. Totally not real. So, I was enjoying that, and then a friend of mine by the name of Lord Metal Man DM'd me an oh-so-wonderful article that just recently released. Well, May. But it's been circulating around recently. And it got sent my way. It's called This... It's by Tech Radar. This Warhammer 40,000 RPG addresses one of the franchise's biggest problems. Now, I ask you, what is one of Warhammer 40,000's biggest problems? Girly man upon his great toilet throne, commanding the Imperium with his stupidity? Is it the fact that there's way too much focus on the Imperium and not enough on the other factions, both on the side of the gaming tabletop side, or just in universe? Is it, I ask you, that the game rules seem to be getting worse with every new edition, and they spend the entire edition trying to fix it as opposed to just adding to it? No. This new RPG does not address any of that bullshit, because the problem is just too many men.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
I give up.
Stop, don't come back.
Alright. Let's just get into this oh-so-wonderfully written article by this oh-so-sane person that's totally functional. Let's jump right into it. What's Cat Bussel gotta say? Warhammer 40,000 sure has a lot of shouty men. We're starting off with gold here, my friends. Not even gonna ease us in. Not even gonna gaslight everybody by saying, "Oh, I'm such a fan and I've been playing for this how many years and collecting the minis for this how many years." And I'm not gonna show any proof of any of that. But I'm such a big and amazing fan that knows so much about it. But no, not even. Give the chick the credit this much. At least she just is honest from the outset. You know from the first sentence to exit the page because it's completely worthless and it's just a bunch of contrived bullshit that was thrown together on a doc and submitted, and the Tech Radar editors and stuff clearly didn't give a rat's ass about it because it was absolute bullshit. Yeah, gaming journalists, they're only getting worse. From the augmented super soldiers of Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine, and I did take this note, by the way, it's mostly referencing the video games. That's because this individual is too stupid to realize that there is a plethora of fucking books and the tabletop game, and there's so much more to it than just video games, but this person can only do so much research. To the stoic Imperial Navy captains of Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2. It's no surprising that the setting can be rather off-putting to some. This is a great shame, since, at its best, Warhammer 40k stands as some of the most compelling satire that the United Kingdom has ever produced. It's not... Okay. How many times do I gotta address this bullshit? It lampoons everything from fascism, colonialism, imperialism, and classism all in one convenient, grimdark package, courtesy of the developers and writers of Games Workshop. Like any great dystopia, the theocratic, authoritarian regime of Imperial Men is darkly compelling, but the franchise loses something by failing to represent women and minorities in its games. How dare this dark, depressing world not have more women and more minorities at the front lines, being ripped apart by tyranids, being raped, I'm gonna have to censor that word, by Ducari, How dare they not do more of this absolute butchery? That's the thing. That's the theme with these people. No matter how much you appease them, it doesn't work. Like, there have been quite a few, like, minorities started to be, put on like, the front covers of stuff. There was that big controversy years ago about the Black Ultramarine, which I didn't really give too much of a shit about, but there was that. You'll notice these guys didn't shut up more about the issue with the diversity. This individual probably had no idea that was a thing. You know why? They're only talking about the video games because as far as they're concerned, Warhammer 40k is only a video game franchise because they're a moron and they don't know what they're talking about and they're not a fan. And they're not even really a tourist as much as they are just some... The thing is, a tourist at least goes somewhere and it acts like a jackass like Logan Paul in Japan. Or Somali... Johnny Somali, I think his name is, who also did the same in Japan. Jeez, Japan gets a lot of the worst tourists, don't they? But at least in Japan, at least the tourist actually goes. This individual is more like somebody who saw a picture or a poster of something and then just made assumptions about it. And that's what happens a lot with these fucking articles from these woke nut jobs talking about Warhammer 40k. They always come off as people who just saw a goddamn poster, maybe saw some tweets from the psycho activists that somewhat collect the hobby, but mostly spend their time rattling off how the hobby should change for their political ideology. That's all they know. And then they make entire articles with this arrogant pompousness, acting like they're experts on it and they know anything about it when it's quite clear they don't have a clue. They're idiots. Pure and simple. Absolutely idiotic. But with Warhammer 40k being a satire of the United Kingdom, no, it's not. It does parody a lot of authoritarian elements. There, I would agree that there's some fascism in it. It's not pure fascism. There are elements in there that are paradoxical, but it's not a wholesale parody of all these things. It's a grimdark sci-fi universe that just takes these themes and blows them up to a very hyperbolic, excessive degree. But even then, it's got its own unique flavor, and it's not a pure parody or pure satire like people like to claim it is. There are elements of it, but it's not you can't. I would never summarize 40k as a paradoxical or a satire series. That's not what it is. It has elements of it, but that's not its core, and that's not what makes up 40k at all. So I hate it when people always try and make that argument, because it's always come from it's always a disingenuous point to begin with, and it shows how little they actually know or care about the franchise they're speaking about. So if you ever hear someone talk about 40k and how it's a big satire or of this political thing or that political thing, just know you found yourself a tourist at best. But yes, this person clearly has a problem with. Let's just keep reading. Oh my god. But theocratic authoritarian regime of Imperium of Man is darkly compelling, but the franchise loses something by failing to represent women and minorities in games. Now let me hit that point, you dumbass. Bitch. You dumbass bitch. Yes, you bitch who wrote this. Cat Bussel. You're a dumbass. Okay? Just a dumbass. You have no idea what you're talking about. This is probably one of the most diverse games ever created, because everyone is represented. If you're asexual, androgynous, or you're non-binary, you can play the orcs. They are androgynous. They have no sex organs, and they reproduce as fungus. If you're looking to play women in any major way, you play the Drukhari, the Eldar. But if you want pure women and you hate men to your core, you can play the Sisters of Battle. It's an all-female faction on the human side of things. You want to play huge, massive, muscly, badass dudes as a brotherhood, then you play as the Space Marines or the Grey Knights. And if you want a mixture of some of the most powerful men and women ever to be conceived into creation, then he plays the Custodes and the Sisters of Silence. This is one of the most diverse fucking settings that has ever been created. It has been so since its inception in the 1980s. You know jack shit about what you're talking about. And you and this article is not worth the paper it would be printed upon, and it's not worth the code that it is encoded upon on this stupid, worthless website. You're trash. And I'm not going to continue reading your goddamn piece of crap article. There's nothing else here of any kind of value. Now, going to my friend Lord Metalman's post about it. This is Cat Bustle on Twitter. A lot of things you're not going to be surprised by here. Staff writer at Tech Radar for Tech Radar Gaming, contributor at wargamer.com. We're not checking that site out anymore. TheGamer.com, that doesn't surprise me at all. They're a piece of shit too. And Super Jump Mag alumna. She, her, queer, lefty. I could never have guessed. And here's some tweets they've made. Yes, more queers writing at Tech Radar. Why is that a celebratory? Also, remember when queer was like a insult? Now it's an identifier. I remember when I was a kid, and if you called someone that, it was just as bad as saying, Faggot. It was just as bad. And you would go to the principal's office and get in trouble. I want those that detention I got when I said that as a 10-year-old, just asking what it fucking was. I want that detention revoked. Principal, I don't know if you watch my shit, man, but you put me in detention because I asked what it meant. It's now an actual official identifier, the LGBTQ+. I was saying an identifier, man. I was woke before it was cool. This article from Jake Hall defers a deft survey of gaming's checkered history of queer representation. Well worth a read of those. No one gives a shit. People want to talk about video games. They don't want to talk about your fucking social bullshit. That means nothing. You live in a first world country where all of your issues are addressed. Everything you're complaining about is the most surface level bullshit, and you can kiss my ass. You live in a country that does not discriminate against you based on your sex, your sexual orientation, your gender identity, your race, none of that stuff through an official capacity because there are laws straight up against it. Discrimination is against the law from everything from employment opportunities all the way to government representation. So, again, you can kiss my fucking ass. When you start addressing this stuff about, like, Middle Eastern countries or other places that have it way worse, then I'll actually take what you have to say seriously. Otherwise, all of what you say is hollow, empty bullshit. Tired of this crap. And yeah, more tweets. So yeah, this person is a shithead. Shocker. And I just want to make this video real quick. Yeah, I'm pretty animated and pretty like fast this morning. That's mainly because I want to get back to playing Cyberpunk 2077. And I didn't want to make this video to begin with because this bitch is annoying as fuck and I'm tired of giving these people attention. But at the same time, couldn't help to do an upload on this channel since it has been a hot minute, and I apologize for that, guys. I've been doing a lot of gaming stuff lately, so focus on that a little bit. Hopefully, I will get some stuff on this channel outside of this honestly shitty stuff that honestly is getting tiring. But I'll catch you guys later. Thanks, Lord Middleman, for sending it to me, I guess, man. I'm gonna take a nap.